Boom, tier maker, horror remakes, everyone. All right, let's jump into it. Medley Man is here. He's breathing. He thinks. Oh, this is great. Yeah. If you've never seen Porky's, Nicholas, you got to see Porky's. It's hilarious. All right, guys, let's jump on over to here. There we go. All right. Okay, so I put these, I think I put them in chronological order. Maybe I messed up. We'll see. But yeah, guys, these are the horror remakes I have watched. Let's take a look here. So, first off, John Carpenter's The Thing from 1982. Where do you guys think that this one should go? Let me know in the chat below. Yeah, my Chunky Jordy is right. Especially Porky's would not be allowed today. Absolutely. Yep. Yep, absolutely, guys. You are absolutely right. Yeah. I mean, The Thing has got to be better than the original, right? So, boom, there it is. John Carpenter's The Thing, better than the original. What a top-notch movie. Arguably the greatest remake of all time. I mean, a pretty big upgrade because it's decades later from the original. And man, I know a lot of people. This could be your favorite John Carpenter movie, period, or your favorite horror movie of all time. I think it definitely can deserve both of those spots for sure. I think the interesting thing about The Thing that makes it really stand out for me, I mean, you have the amazing special effects by Rob Bottin and all that kind of stuff. Um, sort of working under and being assisted by Rick Baker, I believe. But I think what's really interesting here is it's one of the instances where John Carpenter didn't score the film. And I think that kind of helps separate it from some of his other movies. Now, Ennio Morricone's score, certainly has a little bit of that feel to where if you didn't know it was him, I think you could believe that it was John Carpenter that did score the film. But I think it gives just a little bit of a different flavor, enough of a different flavor that it really helps this movie stand out. The soundtrack helps bring that isolated kind of feel that you get in the movie. And I don't know if you guys knew this, let me know in the chat, but there are some unused pieces of music that Ennio Morricone wrote for The Thing that they ended up incorporating into The Hateful Eight. Because he did the soundtrack for The Hateful Eight. He did compose a bunch of original music for it, but they also brought in some tracks that were not used from The Thing. So I think that's kind of a cool, full circle moment because I think The Hateful Eight has some similar vibes, the paranoia, the dead of winter, the isolation. To me, Hateful Eight kind of reminds me of The Thing meets The Evil Dead meets a Western. Absolutely. Medley Man says definitely the greatest remake of all time. Yeah, I think that's not an overstatement for sure. If you don't count Jurassic Park, this is the greatest horror movie of all time to me. Yeah, I don't think Jurassic Park's a horror movie. The dinosaurs kill a couple people, but I don't think it's a horror movie. I think you can call Jaws a horror movie. I don't think you can call Jurassic Park a horror movie, even though they're very similar. I would say that Jurassic Park is kind of like the spiritual sequel to Jaws, especially both of them being directed by Spielberg. Yeah, Coy, I don't either. Yeah. The Thing was one that I hadn't seen in the theater, but 2 years ago I finally got to see it and it was fantastic on the big screen. Hell yeah. That's awesome. My Chunky Jordy says I can't watch The Thing because of the dog scene. Yeah, I mean it's tough. Man, that it is amazing acting by the dogs in that scene when they're in the pen together. That's pretty intense stuff for sure. Yeah, I think Jaws is definitely more horror heavy than Jurassic Park for sure. I don't, yeah, Coy, I'm kind of with you there. It's like I don't strictly call Jaws a horror movie, but if someone's gonna call it a horror, I'm not gonna fight over it. So, because it definitely has those elements. It is a monster movie, Jamie. I get you on that for sure. Light horror, yeah. Aliens for sure, yeah. Well, an alien, yeah, of course. All right, so jumping back on over here, guys. I think The Blob, I'm going to put it up here, better than the original. I mean, The Blob is so much fun. I know you can't really see that it says The Blob there, but everyone's got to be able to recognize that that image right there of the guy, you know, trying to push through the blob itself. Um, man, some really like unexpected kills here, especially in the first act of the film. The special effects are really, really great. Is this a Chuck Russell movie? I think it is. And I think it was written. Is this one that Darabont helped adapt? I think it's one of his like earlier works that he worked that he put some work into on the script. Coy says Die Hard isn't a Christmas movie either. That's a tough one. Yeah. I mean, it's a movie that takes place during Christmas time, but the theme of the movie has nothing to do with Christmas. Yeah. Not seen The Blob. No shame here. There's a whole bunch of movies I haven't seen, so no shame. Yeah, The Blob goes up top too. Yeah, absolutely. For sure. Yeah. And I'm gonna just go ahead and say that The Fly goes up there as well. The 80s were just an amazing time for these horror remakes, you know. There's been good remakes since the 80s, but man, when you're talking The Thing, The Blob, and The Fly, you're talking three of the biggest, you know, sci-fi horror movies of the 50s and 60s being remade, and really in a horrific, you know, body horror kind of way. Like really, really great shit. All right. And moving along to Night of the Living Dead. This is one where I'm like, I don't know. I'm torn between two of the tiers. So let me know, where would you guys put the Night of the Living Dead remake from 1990? Where would you put that one? Medley Man says Die Hard's 1000% a Christmas movie because it's literally about saving Christmas. Yeah, I would never. Yeah, that whole argument that comes up every year. I'm pretty sure the only reason for that is just to get Die Hard more traffic during Christmas. Because I think it's just, you know, at this point, it's like, do we really need to talk about this? However, I will say this: if we're gonna call Die Hard a Christmas movie, then Lethal Weapon's also a Christmas movie. You can't say one is and the other isn't. They're both Christmas movies if one is, because it pretty much Lethal Weapon has just as much to do with Christmas as Die Hard for sure. Yeah. All right, Night of the Living Dead is orange tier. Okay. Gene's only seen the OG Blob. Gene, you should check out the remake. It's really, really good. My Chunky Jordy says top for Night of the Living Dead. Jamie says loving tribute. Okay, yeah. I'm leaning towards it's between loving tribute and close but no cigar, which I feel bad. I gotta put it in loving tribute. Are you guys good with that? Night of the Living Dead being put in loving tribute. Let's go ahead and throw it in there. Kate and I recently watched this one about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago. It looks like a TV movie. I think that maybe that's just part of it's to do with the budget. Maybe the other part is, you know, Tom Savini isn't a seasoned director. I don't know if it's his first, I think it might be his first directing job that he ever took on. I do appreciate that George, you know, worked on the script a little bit, all that kind of fun stuff, kind of punched it up. And you know, I just think that while some of the performances are clearly better than the original, I think there's something to the look of the movie, that odd, like it's almost like it's too well lit. It reminds me of those like Stephen King adaptations and like TV movies where it just doesn't quite look cinematic enough for my taste, unfortunately. And I do kind of wish that the zombies were a little more aggressive. I don't need running zombies, but a little bit more of a threat there. However, I will say that Tony Todd completely carries this movie. His performance is amazing. Like, I love Dwayne Jones in the original. I'm not saying that Tony Todd's is better than Dwayne Jones, but I think that Tony Todd is the difference between putting this in a loving tribute rather than close but no cigar. Because if Tony's not in there or his performance isn't solid, then it's close but no cigar for me, you know? All right. We got Carbonite Dreams in the chat. What's happening, Carbonite? Welcome, welcome. Eli says it's like The Nightmare Before Christmas. Is it a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie? Yeah, it's, I guess for fans of the movie, it's both, right? You watch it around Halloween and then you turn around a month and a half later and watch it again. The Fly remake is a great one. Absolutely, Gene. Yep, it is awesome. And my Chunky Jordy is also recommending that you check out The Blob remake, yeah. Sebastian is in the chat. What's happened, Sebastian? Great to see you. Just woke up in time, slept late. No worries. You can always scrub back a little bit. You've only missed a little bit. Didn't do too much for me the one time I saw it. Yeah, the Night of the Living Dead remake. Yeah, no, I hear you for sure. Nicholas really liked the Texas Chainsaw 03. Yeah, we'll get to those. We'll get to those. Whenever I watch the George Romero trilogy, I sometimes will watch the Night of the Living Dead remake instead of the original. Ooh, interesting. Interesting. Yeah. I don't think I could do that. I love the original Night of the Living Dead. I think it's so damn good. Probably my least favorite out of the original trilogy, but we're splitting hairs there, right? It's like for me, it would go day, dawn, night as far as my favorite. But yeah, let's move on over to the Psycho remake. Oh my gosh. Where do I put this? You know what? What do you guys think? Where do you guys think I should put it? I already know where I want to put it. But tell me where we should put the Psycho remake, the Gus Van Sant Psycho remake starring Vince Vaughn, which a lot of people say it's a straight shot for shot remake. That's not true. That's one of the misconceptions about this movie. That's the thing that everyone brings up. It's like when people call Evil Dead 2013 a remake. It's not. It's not a remake. And Psycho, the remake from 98, is not a shot for shot. There are certain scenes that do go shot for shot. And there's a lot of emulation of camera movements and the setups and all that. But there are plenty of moments in this movie that don't match shot for shot. I think it's one of those things where like maybe 90% of it is kind of shot for shot or 80% of it's shot for shot. And so people just sort of blanket statement the whole thing. Yeah. Let's see here. Medley Man says Psycho is not even that bad of a remake. They just have worse acting and yeah, the scene where he's spanking it. It's weird. NBC needs a sequel and you don't need to do Thanksgiving, Nightmare Before Christmas. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, just make a proper man, is that going to happen? It's been a long time, huh? Need to watch the remake of Night of the Living Dead. Yeah, Carbonite, I would say if you're a fan of the Romero zombie movies, it's worth it. I would say if you're not really a fan or you're not, oh, there goes my computer doing that weird thing, that weird little blip. But we are back, right? We're back. There we go. Well, we're almost back. There we are. I have no idea why my computer does this, you guys. I restart before every stream to try to prevent it. So thanks for hanging out. Yeah, you should check it out, Carbonite. It's good stuff. Not great. Not as good as the original in my estimation, but yeah. T. Parker's seen all the Psycho films except for the remake. Yeah, I'm gonna Gene says I did not see it, but at the bottom. That's funny. Never seen it, but apparently it's rubbish. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna kind of be a jerk here. I'm gonna put Were You Even Trying? Because I think it's sort of the way I feel about the A Nightmare on Elm Street remake, which we will get to here. Oh, it looks like I forgot to bring in that file. Yeah, I need to grab that file really quick for the Nightmare on Elm Street. It's sort of like you want to do a remake, but you also want to do your own thing, which to me is sort of like, what's the point? Why not just do your own thing from the get-go? I just feel like that's the way to go there. So yeah, I'm gonna put Were You Even Trying for the Psycho remake, because I think they could have just done something more unique, right? And I think Vince Vaughn is a really bad casting job. I like him okay, but I think it's a really poor job of casting here. Jamie says, I'm headed out for some chicken barbecue. Hopefully make it back in time to continue with the fun list. If not, have a great stream. See y'all later. Take care, Jamie. Hope you have a good day out there and a great rest of your weekend. Absolutely. And then moving on over into the Haunting remake with Liam Neeson, bringing him back up. I'm gonna go Were You Even Trying here. I really didn't like this movie when I saw it in the theater. I was in high school, so it was that point I was just going to see everything in the theater. Owen Wilson, this is one of the first times I ever saw him in a movie. He has a really like out of nowhere death scene that I just thought was ridiculous. I felt like The Haunting and kind of like a TV movie. Like, when are we going to get to the actual scary stuff? It seemed like they just hardly did anything there. And then to kind of follow up on that, the House on Haunted Hill remake, I'm actually going to put this as a loving tribute. I know it's been a while since I've seen this one, so maybe it is not as good. Maybe it belongs a little bit more in Close But No Cigar. But I'm going to put it as a loving tribute because I have watched the original, I've watched the remake. I think it does a good job of approximating the story from the original. I think Jeffrey Rush here playing the Vincent Price character, he looks exactly like Vincent Price. Really pulls me into the whole thing. I like this whole cast of like ragtag group of characters that are always kind of talking shit to each other. They're also pairing up a little bit. I thought one of my favorite things about Abigail that came out earlier this year is it kind of reminded me of House on Haunted Hill. And in that, you know, each character is kind of unique. They stand out. They have that, you know, good chemistry with one another. And then also like the twitchy, like Jeffrey Combs, like, you know, ghosts in this movie. At the time when I saw this in the theater, having just The Haunting, they came out right around the same time. I thought House on Haunted Hill was way creepier, way more atmospheric, and just a lot more fun than The Haunting. So maybe I'm, you know, jacking it up too much, putting it as a loving tribute, but I think comparing it with the original, it certainly is that for sure. Medley Man says Close But No Cigar. For Haunting or for House on Haunted Hill. House on Haunted remake. Yeah, House on Haunted Hill remake is fun. Yeah. I'm a huge Tales from the Crypt fan. Gil Adler produced this one. Yeah, it kind of has that vibe too. A little bit of you know, Tales from the Crypt vibe for sure. Nicholas says the House on Haunted Hill remake was one of the first horror movies I ever seen. So I do have nostalgia for it. Yeah, you know, it came out when I was in high school. I've got a little bit of that nostalgia myself. Did not see the remake of this movie, but I have seen the OG. It's a good update of the original, Gene. I think the original is great. And I think the remake was a lot of fun for what it is, you know. I think that you know, coming out at that time, it could have been a lot worse. It could have been like The Haunting, which I was just like, what is this nothing going on nonsense? You know, just what the hell are we doing? And then moving back over here to the Grudge remake. Now I'm talking about the original, the remake of like I'm talking about the remake of the Japanese film, not the newest Grudge. I remember I've seen the original Japanese Grudge and I've seen the American Grudge. I'm gonna put it as Close But No Cigar because I really liked how the original Japanese Grudge was sort of like a collection of little stories. And then when we brought it over and Americanized it, they put it as more of like a through line with Sarah Michelle Gellar's character. Um, I liked the kind of anthology feel of the Japanese one better. I get why they didn't remake it exactly like that, but I thought this one was a little bit of a lesser remake as far as you know, remaking all those J horror movies that we did in the early 2000s. Don't think there's anything, you know, controversial about that, about saying that. Close But No Cigar for Psycho. It's still Psycho. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I'm a bit of a jerk on that one. Were you even trying? Just because if you're gonna do 80% shot for shot, are you really trying? You know? This I've seen the one with Sarah Michelle Gellar. It used to traumatize me. Yeah, the J horror stuff is really really creepy, and I do love Sarah Michelle Gellar, absolutely. But for this one is Close But No Cigar for me. Yeah, unfortunately. And then I'm noticing another one that for some reason didn't get brought over. Let me see if I can find this poster for The Ring, because as we're talking about oh, for whatever reason, I don't have that one. That's embarrassing, folks. Or is it somewhere in here and I'm missing it? Nope, it's just not in there. Well, hey, how about that? Let's play a little improvise here and grab the Ring poster and sneak it on in. Why not? And this would be the Ring, with Naomi Watts. So let's grab that. I'm going to save that there. There we go. All right. And let's go ahead and import it in here. Don't you guys love this? Just me kind of talking through the whole thing. Isn't this what you show up for? Is you show up to see me talk and download pictures? All right, there we go. So yeah, let's bring the Ring on. I'm going to say a loving tribute. I think the Ring American remake is really damn good. I don't think it's quite as creepy as the Japanese original. So I'm not going to say that it's better than the original. I think if anything, it's neck and neck. So if you're neck and neck, I'm going to call it a loving tribute, because I do think the Japanese version is totally worth watching. I think maybe the American one gets a little creepier with the video, like the girl brushing her hair and like looking back at the camera, that kind of stuff. Really unsettling. I think the American version does a little bit of a better job. All the scenes with Brian Cox and everything, like going out to the cliffs on the bluffs and everything, I think is a little better, a little more well fleshed out. But I'm still going to call it a loving tribute. I'm not going to put it above the remake because I think they're so close, neck and neck. And Medley Man says, put The Grudge in orange. They did a wonderful job. You want me to, should I do that? Let me know in the chat. Should I move The Grudge to Close But No Cigar? Should I move it up to a loving tribute? Let me know. Let me know. Don't forget the tier list is a democracy. That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, we can move it up. You guys want to move it up? Let me know in the chat. All right. Agree, Tyler. The Ring is dope, and I haven't seen the Japanese original either. It's totally worth watching, guys. You should check it out. Ring is better than Ringu, but I saw the Ring first. Yeah, I think I saw the Ring first as well. Tough for me to say that. It's really tough for me to put it above the original, though. Yeah, I just watched the kill count. Grudge up. All right. All right. Yeah, we can move the Grudge up. How about it, guys? Let's move the Grudge up to a loving tribute. There it is. Boom. Carbonite Dreams. Grudge up. Let's grudge it up, guys. And Texas Chainsaw Massacre 03. Man, is this better than the original? Ooh. This is probably the toughest one for me on this list. Because I think TCM 03 is really, really damn good, really strong. Bringing back the original cinematographer to be behind the camera here again was a great move. I mean, the movie looks beautiful. I think I prefer the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre because it feels so real, feels so gritty and dirty. And even though our characters are like sweaty and got dirt on them, they're also like really pretty in the 03 remake. So I'm inclined to put TCM 03 as a loving tribute, but I can certainly see that folks would want it as better than the original. I mean, essentially, when I say a loving tribute, I'm like, you're either just as good as the original or like right just a hair below being as good as the original. Carbonite Dream says TCM remake is a loving tribute at least. Big Rod says a loving tribute for 03. All right. My Chunky Jordy says top. Medley Man says best Texas Chainsaw movie. Oh, woo. There we go. Easily the best. All right. To me, I think TCM 03 is better than the original. I have more fun with the remake. All right. You guys are definitely, you guys are the coin flip here. Prefer the remake for My Chunky Jordy. Okay. Enough said. Oh, well, I don't know about this. Medley Man. I don't know about that. I don't know what it is. Like, I do like some horror comedies. Like, I love Evil Dead 2. I love Dead Alive is one of my favorite zombie movies. But Texas Chainsaw 2, like, it was kind of lost on me. I didn't hate it or anything like that. And I'm very appreciative that, Toby Hooper came back to do the sequel and he didn't just rehash the same vibe from the original film. So I got to give kudos to that. And I certainly understand it's a very beloved film within the franchise, but maybe I just need to watch it again because I just thought like Texas Chainsaw 2 was like okay, but just so far away from the original that it just didn't really do it for me. TCM remake had better characters, but the OG felt more realistic and disturbing. I agree about the yeah. I would say that the remake fleshes out the characters better, and that is not an intended pun. Carbonite says, I think O3 is better. All right. All right. TCM is a loving tribute, but prefer the original. I'm right there with you, T. Parker, but it seems like the way I'm reading the tea leaves here is the folks in the chat are pushing the coin towards better than the original. It's a democracy. We demand it at the top. Well, so here's the thing about that medley, man. If I'm absolutely sure that a movie like fits into a certain tier, I'm just going to put it there. But if I'm like a little wish-washy, a little bit between a couple, I do want that democratic input from you guys for sure. TCM2 did a goofy direction, take a goofy direction, but I enjoyed it. Yeah. Gene says, I'm not sure if I've seen the remake of Texas Chainsaw. It's good. It's good. Yeah, and I don't think the sequel's underrated. I mean, I see so much love for Texas Chainsaw 2. Like, it is just a romp of a movie, right? It's just so far away from the intent of the original and maybe a little more jarring because it's the second film in the franchise. But yeah, guys, it looks like you all want Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 03 to be better than the original. Now, my heart, I would put it here, a loving tribute. I think it's really damn good. I think it's really close. It's sort of like, do you want to watch an old gritty 70s movie or do you want to see a slick version of that is sort of like the question you have to ask yourself, right? And I'm worried to even bring up the next one, the Dawn of the Dead remake. To me, this is a loving tribute. I love the original Dawn of the Dead so much. It's one of my favorite zombie movies of all time. It's kind of splitting hairs. I like slow zombies more than fast zombies. I like the smaller cast in the original. It's a little more intimate. I feel like, in the original, you really get to spend time with the characters. You get to like sink in with them and get to know them, which I really appreciate. But what do you guys think? I'm torn. I feel like a lot of you are going to say better than the original. I feel like that's the way that the tide has been turning with Dawn of the Dead. So, oh, you want me to do a poll? All right. Yeah, I should do a poll. How about it? Let's check this out. I think I have to go over to YouTube to do a poll. There we go. All right. Let's check this Bizzle out. There we are. All right. Now, how do I do a poll? There we go. All right. Let's see here. Better than the original. A loving tribute. All right, guys. Dawn of the Dead 04. There we go. Starting a poll. There we go, guys. The poll is in. Let me know. Boom. Hopefully there's no typos there. Let's see here. Sebastian says the sequels we get now make the remake look like a masterpiece. Yeah, I mean the TCM remake's really, really good. Yeah, it is great. Dawn of the Dead remake better than the OG, says Carbonite Dreams. Tyler says, wow, it's a loving tribute. I just can't love it more than the original Dawn. I'm right there with you, Tyler. But I feel like most people are going to vote for the remake being better. I find the OG Dawn is boring. Well, Vanderhop, it certainly is very long, right? It's 2.5 hours long. It's kind of a slog. But I like the slow burn element of the film. And yeah, I think that the characters are just a little more likable for the most part than the remake. Ben Grimm says directed by Zack Snyder and written by James Gunn. I've watched the remake way more than the OG. Yeah, I can certainly understand that, especially depending on, how old everyone is and when they found the movie versus when they found the original. And yeah, welcome to the chat, Ben. I might have missed you earlier on, but welcome to the stream, my guy. My Chunky Jordy says, I love both. They're tied. Yeah. Better than the original, says Medley Man. Let's see what you guys are saying in the poll here. All right. Better than the original is at 75%, just 8 votes. All right. 16 people are watching. Let's see if a couple more votes roll in here. Big Rod says this one's a lot like TCM. The originals were so impactful. It's hard to pick. I agree. I agree, Big Rod. It is very difficult to pick. But with 8 votes in and 75% going to better than the original for Dawn of the Dead '04, I'm going to end that poll and we are going to slide Dawn of the Dead, the remake from '04, into better than the original. Holy cow, there it is. All right, folks, moving to another George Romero remake here. We've got The Crazies. The Crazies. What year did The Crazies come out? Was it like 2011 or something like that? Yeah, I think it was, starring Timothy Oliphant. Let's just go ahead and do another poll for this as well, right? This is a fun thing to do, right? Um, the Crazies remake. Oh my god. Predictive text is brutal. There we go. Oh my goodness. There we go. Better than the original or a loving tribute. How many of you guys have seen the original Crazies? I think it was it 77 that Romero put that out? I think it was. I have the 2-hour, 45-minute version of the OG Dawn. It's a great film. Yes, my chunky Jordy. I've got that DVD box set from '04 that has like all 3 versions. So it's got that extended cut. The director's cut is the theatrical cut, but it has that extended cut that's, yeah, like 245. Crazy. Carbonite Dream says, not sure, haven't seen the OG. Big Rod says, I dig the OG. Yeah. Medley Man says, have not seen any Crazies movies. That's all right. The remake is a lot more like a zombie kind of movie, whereas the original is like it's an airborne illness that just makes people suddenly start acting irrational, like trying to kill their loved ones. So they're not technically zombies, they're just sick, you know. I am gonna put, since it doesn't look like they've got too strong of feelings here. We've got 6 votes and it's 50-50. So I'm gonna put the Crazies remake as a loving tribute. I really enjoy the original. It's a bit of a rough looking film. Romero's earlier films certainly don't have, big huge budgets, but I think the remake goes far away enough from the original premise that I don't think I can say that it's better, because it does feel a little bit more like a zombie movie for sure. So I'm gonna end that poll. A loving tribute ended up winning right at the end. It was a tip of the nose finish there, a photo finish on that one. Don't know if I've seen the OG, but I enjoy the Crazies, so I put it in the middle. 2010 was the Crazies remake. Yep, never saw the original, but I really like this film. Yeah. Ashton chiming in with preferring the TCM remake. Yeah. Accidentally voted for the original, but I haven't seen it. No worries. Yeah, the loving tribute ended up winning that poll anyways, Medley Man. So yeah, let's cruise right along to Black Christmas '06. I'm gonna make the call on this one. This one's not a democracy. I think the '06 Black Christmas is a loving tribute. I don't think it's anywhere near better than the original. I'd be surprised if anyone in the chat says that it's better than the original. I think it's what's really cool about the '06 Black Christmas remake is it's kind of like a remake and a sequel in a way. It's not, because it's different enough. I can see that it's a huge love letter to the original. I love the music. I like the kind of sepia tone. If you guys watch my review that I put out last December, I really love the blood splatter, like the explosion of blood that they use quite a few times in this movie is really, really fun. And I like the characters enough, not all of the characters. I don't like the weird, like, sex tape boyfriend was a bit off to me, but I like, the girls I really, really enjoy in this film. And the first time I watched it, I was like, I don't know if this is really for me. Then I rewatched it again for the reviewing purposes, and I was like, man, I actually really like this after watching it a second time. So I'm putting it in a loving tribute, because I just don't see it being better than the original. Yeah. T. Parker says, hot take, but Black Christmas '06 is the worst. But I thought the original was meh at best, and we don't talk about 2019. Yeah, I think when the '06 version came out, it was torn apart pretty hard. I just watched it for the first time last December. So I was so far away from like all the hate on it. And I was pleasantly surprised, especially on the second viewing. I enjoyed it a lot more. Now, Black Christmas 2019. Oh shit. Gene Whitcomb says, I have not seen any Black Christmas remake, just the OG. Yeah, you don't need to see the remakes, Gene. The OG is the best one for sure. I would say if you're looking for something a little more grimy and a little more bloody, then the '06 version works. You know, the soundtrack's great. Michelle Trachtenberg's awesome. Katie Cassidy's really good. I'm forgetting the actress's name right now, but one of the actresses from the original is playing like the house mother in this movie. So it was really cool to see her come back. And you know, they expand the lore, and I don't think they expand the lore. Some of the decisions they make I don't really appreciate, but I know those came from the producer, the writer and director. The stuff that he contributed as far as bringing Agnes into the mix, I thought was really cool. But the skin cookies and the incest and stuff, those weren't his ideas. Those were pushed on him by the Weinsteins. I think it was the Weinsteins that did that. So no surprise there, right? Nicholas says, I agree. Black Christmas '06 is one of my favorite horror movies. That's awesome to hear. Haven't seen 2019. Holy shit. My Chunky Jordy, watch it. Like, it's so bad. It's entertaining. Like, it's so bad. I'll watch it. Probably this Christmas, I'll do a watch along and just rip it to shreds. I would love to do like a Mystery Science Theater, you know, watch along of that movie, just tearing it apart. Do you guys want to just go ahead and take care of that one right now? Black Christmas 2019. This is the worst. This is the worst. I'm just going and making that call. Were you even trying? It doesn't even fit that at all. Black Christmas 2019 is Black Christmas in name only. I'm not the first person to say that. It should have been called something completely different. The only thing it has in common with the original and with that title, Black Christmas, is that it has sorority girls in it and it takes place during Christmas. That's it. Those are the only things. We don't even get creepy phone calls or anything like that. You know, the word like woke gets thrown around a lot, even when it doesn't always apply. But good God, this movie is the epitome, the worst of the worst when it comes to calling a movie woke. It is so on the nose that it makes Disney movies look like they're beating around the bush. Like, I'll just flat out say that how on the nose Black Christmas 2019 is, it would offend the most lefty of leftists out there because it does a disservice to everything that it's trying to say. I think I'll get off my soapbox there about Black Christmas 2019. Yeah, black sludge that makes men toxic. Yeah, and is the black sludge supposed to be like, you know, imagery for just like testosterone? That's like what's wrong with the world, is that testosterone is toxic. It's bizarre. It is completely bizarre. They don't even try to explain it in a creative way. And like the girl, the sorority girl that's like the turncoat that's been collecting all the items of all the other girls to give to the cult. That's really odd too. It doesn't really like fit with the whole premise of the story, right? Like it doesn't even make any sense. It's a bizarre movie and dreadfully poorly written, you know, really, really bad. Nicholas says, I remember Cody Leach hated the Black Christmas 2019 remake. I don't know anyone that enjoyed this movie. I've not seen anyone that enjoyed this movie. Disney says, hold my beer. But, you know, honestly, like, gosh, I got to say, it makes it's like the Captain Marvel and all that, like, really terrible shit Disney's done. Like, the Black Christmas 2019 quote unquote remake makes those movies look like kids' stuff. Carbonite says it makes Disney movies look like Tropic Thunder. Oh, that's great. That's good shit right there. I like that. I like that. It's so fucking weird. Absolutely medley, man. Yeah, it's bizarre. Moving on to the Halloween remake from '07. Oh my gosh. Here's where the controversy stirs. Oh, here we go. I'll start a poll for this one because I want to put it in close but no cigar. That's where I'm inclined to put it. But let's start a poll here. Halloween '07. There it is. Do you guys want it as a loving tribute or close but no cigar? Because there's no way in hell this one's better than the original, at least in my opinion. So I'm not even going to throw it out there. Because Medley Man, as I told you, it's kind of a democracy, but also it's my show, right? This is the Davey Death Ray channel. I want you guys to be involved for sure, absolutely. Didn't Blumhouse hire her as the Black Christmas director right after Jason Blum got accused of not hiring one? I think there was something in that regard. Yeah. And still, I've heard other people say this. I know Dave McRae has said it. You could have just called the movie Slay Girls. Because I think that was like one of the taglines they used. They could have just not called it Black Christmas. Like you could actually have remade Black Christmas and made it chilling. And you could have hired a woman to direct it, but you could have given them the direction of, you know, as a producer, you have to say, this is going to be a Black Christmas remake. This is not going to be whatever the hell movie you want it to be, you know? And you're right. Yeah, Coy says it. That says it all. T. Parker says, as a huge Halloween fan, the Rob Zombie remake is close but no cigar. It's entertaining. Well, yeah, there's no way it's better than the original. Yeah, for sure. I know some people do prefer it, though. Some people do prefer it. That's wild to me. But all right, we've got 7 votes, and it's close but no cigar. We are ending it there. We are going close but no cigar for Halloween '07. And then that moves us to our next of the big 3. Friday the 13th from '09. Where do you guys put Friday the 13th '09? To me, I think I think this is better than the original. I think when I did my ranking, maybe the original was ranked 1 higher. So let's do, I think a loving tribute is fitting for this one too. I don't think that's too wild. I think if I were to like pick between the two, only if I really wanted that old school like summer vibe would I, you know, say that the original is, or put the original on before putting on the remake, because I really enjoy the remake. I mean, it's kind of a remake of the first 4 films. It's got a lot to offer. So let's see. Friday the 13th, '09. There we go. And are we going to say it's better than the original, or are we going to say it's a loving tribute? Let's see. Let's see what you guys say. Because I could go either way on this one, honestly. Could go either way. Carbonite Dream says, haven't seen the '07 Halloween yet. It's on my watch list, just not fond of the Rob Zombie's movies. I'll tell you this. I think his sequel is far superior to his remake. His remake has a couple things in it. What happened, like you get to see a little bit more of the Strode family and a little bit more with the Strode parents. And I think that's like the element that he put in there that I enjoyed, but I didn't like the backstory of Michael, and a lot of really uncomfortable moments in Rob Zombie's Halloween. Like I don't need full frontal nudity while someone's getting murdered. I think that's maybe a bit too much for me. I think you can allude to that without having to show it so blatantly. Yeah. Nicholas says, I enjoy Rob Zombie's Halloween, but I enjoy the second half more. Yeah, basically when it's just the remake of John Carpenter's movie. And at that point, you might as well just put on John Carpenter's movie. The final act of Rob Zombie's Halloween seems like it takes forever. When Michael is, you know, chasing Laurie around in the Myers house, it's just like, when is this movie going to end, you know? Carbonite Dream says Friday the 13th better than the original. I'm not going to put 2018 on there because it's not a remake. It's a sequel to the original. So I'm not putting Halloween 2018 on the list. But we could have another tier for like legacy sequels. And that could go legacy sequels. It could span across genres, right? Because we've seen it happen with Rocky. We've seen it We've seen it happen with Rambo, 2 Stallone flicks there. And a whole bunch of other movies. Even comic book movies have had legacy sequels. So yeah, let's save that for another tier, Medley Man, or another ranking. I think that would be cool. Better than the original, best Friday the 13th movie. Tyler says tops. The original fucking sucks. Well, I don't think the original Friday the 13th sucks, but I totally get you. It certainly does feel dated, right? More dated than the original Nightmare or the original Halloween. T. Parker says Friday the 13th, 09 is my top 3 of the franchise. Meanwhile, the original is in the middle. Yeah. I don't think that's too far off there. Yeah. So it seems like you guys are all, feeling that. Requels and reboots. There you go, Carbonite Dreams. That's what we'll call that one. Because that would be great. You'll notice there's no Evil Dead 2013 on this list because to me, that's not a remake. It's a requel or a reboot, kind of. Sort of a legacy sequel in a sense. Now that Evil Dead Rise is out there and cleared up some stuff. Yeah. They wasted far more than 5 minutes. Oh, yeah. The 5 minutes of making the coffee. Yeah. Yeah. Those movies from the early 80s had those slow moments. It was just a different time. Like when Matt and I were rewatching The Prowler the other day, I was thinking, yeah, this movie could be moving along way more swiftly. Absolutely. Corey says, I've never understood people having moral lines while watching a movie. Not enjoying what you're seeing is fine, but usually it can be on purpose. It's all fake anyways. Yeah, and for me, it's not a moral line. It's not like, oh, now this movie's crap because it had this. It's just sort of like, that just doesn't really fit my sensibilities. So, like you're saying here, I just don't really enjoy it. I don't. And I think with Rob Zombie, there's just so much ugliness in his movies, and it doesn't always work for me. But having said that, I really love Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. So what the hell do I know, right? Don't like the Friday remake at all. Uh, yeah, I think so. I think you're right, Coy. I think he does want to make people feel uncomfortable. But that doesn't mean that we can't, mention that and bring that up. I think, in the same way that he makes no qualms about wanting to make people uncomfortable, I have no qualms with saying that it does make me feel uncomfortable. And that while I don't mind feeling uncomfortable when watching a movie, certain levels of uncomfortability make me not enjoy the movie and make me less inclined to revisit the movie. So there's some stuff in that Rob Zombie remake that makes me not want to revisit it. Whereas a movie like George Romero's Martin has movies that make me like squirm or moments that make me squirm a little bit, but really intrigue me. And so I'm uncomfortable, but I'm like, I really enjoy the film still, regardless, If you don't like a movie, it's a skill issue. Well, I just think it's a taste thing, right? So yeah, guys, let's see what you're saying in the poll. Better than the original, 89%. Boom, that poll is finished. Vincent is rolling over in his bed. There we go. And moving to Day of the Dead. This was like 07, 08 when they did this direct video remake of Day of the Dead with Nick Cannon, Mina Suvari, and Ving Rhames. Gosh, he was in the Dawn remake, which was so good. And then a couple years later ends up in this Day of the Dead remake that is the worst. This movie is so bad, maybe worse than Black Christmas 2019, because at least Black Christmas 2019 is so bad it's entertaining because it's so on the nose and just laughable. Day of the Dead, man, is incompetently made, terrible budget, poor script. It's like they just bought the name and did kind of an approximation of the original Day of the Dead, but it doesn't do any favors to the zombie genre. And yeah, I think I remember from Day of the Dead remake, there are zombies that are literally like crawling on the walls and on the ceilings. So now the zombies either have like, dead flesh is strong enough to like stick their fingers into the ceiling, or they're spider. So I don't think that this one really is up for debate in the chat. I would be surprised if you guys have even like seen the Day of the Dead remake. Have any of you guys seen the Day of the Dead remake? And then I think they even made a sequel to the remake. Oh my gosh. Or they did like Day of the Dead Bloodlines. I don't know if that's just another remake that's totally unrelated to this one. But good God, this movie, I watched it right when it came out. I like downloaded a copy back in 07 or 08, whenever that was. I couldn't forget it quick enough. This movie was just one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Yeah, Carbonite Dreams, like, I didn't even know there was a Day of the Dead remake. Yeah, it is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And I'm a big Mystery Science Theater fan, so I've seen a lot of terrible movies. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, Medley Man. I'm not saying that Rob Zombie technically did a bad job making the movie, but my level of enjoyment is certainly gonna be affected by, how uncomfortable I feel, yeah, I mean, right? Isn't that the way it's gonna be, like, with any kind of movie, really? It's like, I'm happy that the Halloween remake has an audience because I think his second movie is so much better. So without the remake, we wouldn't have gotten Rob Zombie's second version and his more unique version. And then also just the two films as a whole. I know we had a break after those movies were made, but it did keep Halloween afloat and alive during that time. So I certainly have appreciation for that. And while I don't really enjoy his Halloween remake, I think that Rob Zombie is, far beyond just a competent filmmaker. I think his cinematography got better and better. His scripts a little weak, but yeah, yeah. I think that as far as his skill goes, I don't really have a problem with the skill. It's more of a taste thing for me, for sure. Um, is that the Ving Rhames Day of the Dead? It is, yes. Because they did like Day of the Dead Contagium that was packaged as a sequel to the original Day of the Dead, but it wasn't really. They just bought the rights for the name. And then this Day of the Dead remake came out, and then they did a Day of the Dead movie called Bloodlines, which, if I remember, I did watch that one. If I remember correctly, it's pretty much a remake. They take certain elements from the original Day of the Dead, and then they tell like their own kind of story around it, which this version does as well. Um, yeah, yeah, really, really bad stuff, Medley Man. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah, Nicholas was saying, "I'm not a fan of movies that are too depressing or too bleak." And yeah, Koy is saying, "I have to be in the mood." I'm right there with you. It has to be a mood thing for sure. Yeah. Medley Man says Bloodlines was worse. Yeah, and I guess I just didn't even include Bloodlines because I'm like, I'm just going for the original or the first remake. It's funny to say original remake. That's why I didn't include like the latest version of like the Ring movie or the Grudge or stuff like that. There is a weird thing in fandom where everyone wants to be happy and not hear any opinions or anything that might be considered too sad or real. I just don't get that at all. Yeah, I think there's room for all, for sure. I think I'm glad all of those movies exist, and even all of these movies exist, good or bad, because um, it's just something we can talk about. We can have that conversation, and not every I don't expect that every movie is gonna fit my taste. That's like the fun of watching movies is seeing like what fits your taste, what doesn't. Being finding that through years of watching TV and film or listening to music that you become refined as an audience member and you become like smarter as an audience member. You also like figure out more and more what you like, what you don't like. And then, still hopefully you never lose the want to like take some chances on some things that maybe it looks like it's not your thing. Like Terrifier didn't look like it was my thing. The first movie definitely wasn't, and the second movie was a lot closer to being something I could really enjoy. So I'm actually really looking forward to Terrifier 3. I think it could be my favorite one in the franchise. Even though it's a little bit outside of my sensibilities for the most part. But again, like when I'm talking about like my taste and my sensibilities, I'm not saying that my taste is the best or the only one out there. It's just my taste, that's it. So more power to like I say all the time, like what you like and don't make any apologies for it. You should like the things you like proudly. Absolutely. But you should always I think at least for me, it's fun to have that conversation with somebody if they like something I didn't like or vice versa. It's just kind of cool to figure out like why. You shouldn't take your not enjoying being uncomfortable out of the movies, otherwise you can't truly recognize what is good. Yeah, I can certainly recognize the elements of the Halloween remake that work for me, for sure, yeah. I just laughed at the remake of Day of the Dead, yeah. T. Parker says, "Have you seen The Strangers Chapter 1?" I've not. I haven't seen any Strangers movies. I'm terrible. Oh, yeah. I haven't seen House That Jack Built, but I've heard that about that one, Nicholas. I have seen Requiem for a Dream and Martyrs. Those are difficult, yeah. All right, guys. So let's get into the next one on the list. Here we go. A Nightmare on Elm Street remake. I'm putting this one in. I want to say that this is the worst, but looking at Black Christmas 2010 Day of the Dead, I've got to put A Nightmare on Elm Street from 2010 in. Were you even trying? Because again, like Psycho, this is a movie that's a remake, but also tries to do its own thing. They literally like redo scenes and shots from the original, but the characters don't have the exact same names for some reason. They veer off in this whole direction of maybe Freddy was innocent, but then we find out he wasn't, and it's actually worse because he wasn't even just a child murderer. He was now like a child diddler, which is far worse than just being, I mean, being a murderer is bad enough, right? It just seems to be kind of beating a dead horse to make it to where he was, molesting kids. It's just, to me, it's just bizarre. So I don't see this one being a Democratic choice because this movie's pretty bad. It's really the only reason why this movie's not in This Is the Worst is because Black Christmas 2019 and Day of the Dead from 07 or 08, whenever that was, are so bad that I can't quite put A Nightmare on Elm Street in that same category. What do you guys think, though? T. Parker says, not that bad, close but no cigar. All right. Carbonite Dreams agrees that where it's put. Were you even trying? Yeah. It's not great, says Tyler. Jackie Earle Haley could have been a great Freddy if they didn't do him dirty like that. Yeah, the script is very poor. I don't think Jackie Earle Haley is scary at all. I think Freddy is a friggin' joke in this movie, which is odd because Freddy in the regular series became a joke as everything went along, but it would just seem so corny. The dialogue just seems so heavy-handed. Like what were they doing here? I just feel like it's all wrong. None of it worked for me. I was completely bored watching this movie. Yeah, were they even trying? It's a good concept, but they didn't do anything with it. Yeah, are you making a remake or are you doing your own thing? Pick a friggin' lane, people. Sometimes that's one of those things when you watch a movie. Like, I think it was one of those, I keep on bringing up Abigail. So many people were like, oh my God, Abigail is like the best movie of the year. This is incredible. One of the best vampire movies I've ever seen. And I'm like, Abigail wants to be like 3 or 4 different movies and can't figure out what the hell it is. And it takes forever to get going. And I had fun watching it, a fun enough time, but man, it definitely didn't blow my socks off. I mean, pick a lane, Close but no cookie, says Medley Man. What's up, Lamontre? How are you doing, man? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. We're going through our horror remake tier ranking here. Not worth watching in theaters. One of the worst films of the year. What were you guys talking there? Oh, The Strangers. The Strangers, Chapter 1. This falls into my don't take being uncomfortable out of the movie thing. Yeah, in an odd way, I just think like Freddy doesn't really have any personality in the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. The stuff that he says is so corny, so cliche. It's like a joke without being funny. It's bizarre. I agree with Dave McCrae. It's always been implied that he was, making it less in the background doesn't make it not true. Yeah, I felt like because in the original, I think it was part of the original script for the 1984 film, and they just decided to take it out because they felt like being a child killer was enough. Kate says that the 2010 Nightmare on Elm Street was terrible. Yeah, Kate would probably put it in This Is the Worst, even though she has seen 2019's Black Christmas. Oh my God, we watched that together. We were like pausing that movie together just to crack up about it. He's awful, not throwing him a bone. Sorry. Yeah, I think Jackie Earle Haley is a great actor. Dreadful job here. And probably because of the dialogue, I would say. And I don't like the look. I don't like the realistic look. I don't know what you do when you remake Freddy because it's tough to like try to do the same makeup and call it a remake, but maybe they should have because it just seemed, even though it's more realistic, it just seemed like there wasn't much he could do with that makeup on. And bad dialogue, stupid effect on the voice. Yeah. I don't think a Nightmare on Elm Street remake is not that bad, but I'm not a fan of the changes they made. Yeah, I didn't like it at all. I thought it would have been better if he were innocent. The fact that they tease that and then in the last like 20 minutes of the movie, you're like, nope, Not only is he not innocent, but we found these books of his that like have these pictures that the filmmakers can't even show the audience because it's so disturbing. Um, yeah, I'm right there with you, Coy. Right there with you. Radio silence for some films for some reason have audiences act like their films change cinema. Yeah, T. Parker, I think radio silence is just like okay. Like their movies make a decent amount of money, but people really, especially the Scream crowd. Holy crap! The Twitter Scream folks are just nutso. I didn't get the hype for Scream 6 or Abigail. Yeah, and I don't think Scream 5 was very good. I think Scream 5 and 6 are the worst two in the franchise. They're not like bad films, they're not incompetently made, but I didn't enjoy them. He's a dream demon. It doesn't need to look like a real burn victim. Absolutely. He could look like whatever. Yeah, you're true. Or you're true. That's a true thing to say there, Coy. I wonder if CGI has gotten good enough or just to do that instead of practical. Yeah, I just think practical probably would have been better. Or you just have him look different in every scene, right? I kind of like that idea of like Freddy taking on a new form because it's all about like the interpretation of like what your brain creates. Honestly, didn't feel like a Freddy movie to me at all. That is a scathing indictment from Kate right there. The CGI was terrible. The actress that played Nancy was so dull. I thought she did okay. I like Kyle Gallner a little bit, but yeah, the writing is just not there. It's just not there. Yeah. Yeah, my chunky Jordy. Yeah. The new Scream movies, I think they're just like almost trying too hard that they come off pretty cheesy. All right, guys, we just have a few more left. We've got Bloody Valentine 3D from 2009. All right, where are we going to put this one? I'm going to give you guys another poll here. So let's get the poll going. My Bloody Valentine 3D. Boom. And I'm going to put it between A Loving Tribute and Close But No Cigar. Let me know what you guys think. For me, this is a Close But No Cigar because it feels like a TV movie. It's got lower quality acting from people like Jensen Ackles, who I just don't think he's very good. Maybe he's good on Supernatural. I don't know. I haven't watched that show. But I don't think he's good here. I think a lot of the acting's pretty subpar here, and the effects don't really stand up for me too much. And yeah, it just kind of looks like a WB TV film. So I'm more in the Close But No Cigar. I don't hate it. Definitely not going to rewatch it every year like I will with the original. But let me know in the poll what you guys think. You love the My Bloody Valentine remake, my chunky Jordy, or you love doing the tier ranking? Let me know. I'm excited that we're doing something new here. And I know that maybe the stream goes on a little bit longer because I do have some things I want to cover here once we're done with the tier ranking, but I wanted to get through this with you guys and yeah, have you all voice your opinions. Oh my gosh, we are tied. Dead heat 50-50 after 4 votes. Get your votes in, folks. We're going to keep the voting open for another 30 seconds. All right. Just 4 votes. And we have 14 people watching. So hop on in and vote. Hopefully you've seen this movie and seen the original. Yeah, I thought Scream 6 was on its way to being better than Scream 5. And then the killer reveal happened and it just fell off the cliff for me at that point. Oh, wow. Prefers the remake over the original. Interesting. Yeah. I guess for me, I like the comedy aspect of the original. The cast feels like a little more cohesive. Um, yeah, the remake it's okay for me. My Bloody Valentine and the stream. Hell yeah. Not seen him. Tyler has not seen either one of them. What's happening, Brother Fluff? Welcome to the stream, my guy. We are doing a horror remake tier ranking here. So you can get in on the My Bloody Valentine 3D action. After 8 votes, Close But No Cigar wins with 62%. So we are ending it there, and we are the My Bloody Valentine remake at Close But No Cigar. All right, now we got a really fun one, Maniac. This movie, talk about making you feel uncomfortable, but one that I really enjoyed. This movie is bloody as all get out. Oh man, Elijah Wood is just super creepy. I think this one captures the vibe of the original, modernizes it. And man, this one is, yeah, I think I would put this one as a loving tribute, because it's so close. But what do you guys think? Is this, is the Maniac remake with Elijah Wood better than the original? Is it a loving tribute, or are you one of those folks that's like, close, but no cigar? T. Parker says Kyle Gallner did help make the remake more watchable, and Chris should have been the lead instead of Nancy. Yeah, they should have just switched some things around a little bit more. I think would have been better. And yeah, the script is just really poor. I just, you could have the best actors in the world. What are you going to do with a bad script? T. Parker also says I only saw My Bloody Valentine remake, but it was close, but no cigar. All right. Not seen either Maniac that I can remember. Yeah, they're pretty rough. They're pretty rough. Medley Man says I gotta go now. Put Child's Play and Loving Tribute. I didn't enjoy Child's Play that much. To me, it's gonna be close but no cigar at best. Medley Man, hate to disappoint you. But real quick, what do you guys think of? Let's see here. Never seen either of the Maniac movies. All right. Nobody really has that much to say about Maniac, so I am gonna say let's put in a loving tribute. There we go. And Child's Play. What was this? 2019 when Child's Play came out? Where do you guys want to see the Child's Play remake? Man, the opening to this movie is really bad. The first time I tried to watch this movie, I turned it off because the opening was so insultingly bad. Terrible, terrible way to, somehow try to explain that this is an evil doll now. What the hell? What were you even trying for the opening? That's for sure. But what do you guys think? Is this a loving tribute or is it close but no cigar? The Child's Play remake, let me know. Coy says trash, burn it with fire. He couldn't get over Chucky in the remake. So it sounds like this one needs to have a poll. And Medley Man is upset. He's upset in the chat. All right. Child's Play. Was it 2019? Let's see here. A loving tribute or close but no cigar. Can I add an option? How about this? I'll even put, are you even trying for folks like Coy? There we go. Let me know. This is the last one for the ranking, and then I have some really, really exciting stuff to show you guys. This isn't just going to fizzle out to the end of the stream. I have some fun stuff that I want to show y'all. Really excited to share some here, a little bit of kind of personal life and a little bit of professional life news. So really pumped. Necromechanimal. I don't even rank it. Just leave it down there below the list. Ooh, shit. I don't remember the Child's Play remake, says Nicholas McMath. Yeah. Medley Man says loving tribute. Yeah, burn it with fire. What a missed opportunity. I think so. I've been rewatching the Child's Play movies for my ranking. And man, the original really stands up. I thought that I would like Child's Play 2 more than the original, or even like Bride of Chucky more than the original, but man, something about that like gritty kind of cop drama sort of feel with the original Child's Play. And also, we were talking about this last night with Friday, the runtime. The runtime of the original Child's Play almost like plays like a two-parter TV movie, but it has the quality of like a film. So it's this really cool, I don't know, for me, it was just such a breeze. By the time they're in the apartment, like having the final battle with Chucky and he's all burned to a crisp, I just think like, I love the Toy Factory ending of Child's Play 2, but man, that first film, there's something about that ending. I love it so much. And Coy really likes 3. Yeah, I think I liked 3. I think I like the first 3 like in order. And Bride of Chucky, I was thinking that maybe I would like Bride of Chucky more than part 2 or part 3, but I don't know. Bride of Chucky, Ronnie Yu's films just feel sort of like they're there and they've got style as far as the visuals go, but just not much else. More about the visuals and the soundtrack than anything else. I respectfully hate you. Happy. That's hilarious. Love seeing it. It's funny how Megan is getting a lot of love, but it's literally child's play, but with a better doll design. Yeah, the whole like I'm protecting my person kind of thing. Um, yeah. So let's see what the polls at here. We have got close but no cigar, and were you even trying tied? We need one more vote, people. Let's get one more vote in here, huh? Let's do it. Okay, so these are both going to be tied. Um, then what I'm going to do is I'll be the tiebreaker, and I'm going to put it in were you even trying? That's where I'm putting it. Um, it's so far below the first four films in the franchise, at least. And I don't remember really liking Seed of Chucky or is it Cult of Chucky that much, but I've thought Curse, the one that's in the house with Brad Dourif's daughter in the wheelchair, like I thought that movie was the best one since Bride for sure. So yeah, this one, yeah, not too big of a fan. So yeah, guys, that is the tier ranking right there. So in better than the original, we've got The Thing, The Blob, The Fly, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Dawn of the Dead, and Friday the 13th are all better than the original according to the democracy and myself a little bit. um, in a loving tribute, we've got Night of the Living Dead, House on Haunted Hill, The Ring, The Grudge, The Crazies, Black Christmas '06, and Maniac. All right, pretty good group right there, I think for sure. Close but no cigar. Not many here, just Halloween, Rob Zombie's Halloween, and then My Bloody Valentine 3D. And in Were You Even Trying, we've got Psycho, The Haunting, A Nightmare on Elm Street, and Child's Play. And in This Is the Worst, Black Christmas from 2019 and Day of the Dead from whenever the hell that was. Yeah, that was fun, guys.